And listen, a lovely donation from the Crown Green Bowlers of Lisnagalvin to a major Christmas campaign in this town. Many of you will know that one particular business goes out of their way to make sure that everybody gets a bit of a Christmas dinner across this city. So I'll be speaking to City Centre businessman Declan Moore in the second half of the programme. Firstly, as we often say, just looking across the furthest reaches of the digital frontier, delighted to be joined from the Ulster University at Magee by Professor Kevin Curran. Kevin, good to see you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mark.
Listen, what about this? Facebook, Instagram. I hope I get the age or the time in life where I need neither, and I hit that glorious delete button. But they do form a huge... Instagram, WhatsApp, these things organise our families, Kevin. But what's Meta doing here?
Yeah, Meta are introducing in the UK an ad-free subscription for $2.99 on the web and $3.99 as on your phone, on your Android or Apple. So that allows you then to obviously browse the Facebook timeline without seeing ads.
Simple as that.
That's simple.
Do you ever think, because you've probably got, I would say, a dozen wee £3-pounders, £3 a month for this, £3 a month for this, £3 a month for a bit of, for Netflix, or if you pay an extra £3. I bet you all these wee £3 add up in people's lives, Kevin.
They do. It's like, for instance, I pay a family subscription to YouTube, and it's about I think it's $22 a month. But I consider that one worthwhile because I spend so much time on YouTube.
I do too.
And I don't get ads, and I'm amazed. It's a one subscription I would tell people to do. Right,
hold on. We need to talk about this. What's that like? Because that button comes up in mine. I'm going, you're not getting anything off me, YouTube. What is it like? Do you get more? Or?
Yeah, I mean, there's features like the sound quality is better if you're an audio geek. You can also go, there's a new AI feature now where you can jump to the interesting content in the video, but I'm sure that's hit or miss. The main thing is you're not interrupted by ads. Mm-hmm. You literally, and like I said, when I'm traveling, I'm listening to my podcast, which I download. When I go to the gym, I'm listening to my YouTube videos. I'm literally all day when I'm free. And that's where I get a lot of my knowledge from because it's technical rather than looking at...
But what is wrong with me? The ad comes on and I turn the sound down and look at the bottom right hand corner of the screen so I don't look at the ad. I honestly do that with every single...
a lot do, because...
I'm not buying it, I'm not looking at it, I'm not listening to it, keep it going, and then the wee button goes, skip, brilliant, we're back.
No, if you use it frequently, I would say definitely do it, and especially for family memberships as well, because it's just ad-free. You save a lot of life, especially...
YouTube is the behemoth, isn't it? It's the real competitor for terrestrial telly. We know that across these islands, YouTube is the king.
Totally. When they bought that, I'm talking now, Google bought YouTube about 15 years ago, I guess, maybe 17, and they paid about $3 billion for it. And I thought, oh my goodness, what a waste of money. And I've learned never ever will I come against an evaluation of the large giants, because they seem to know what they're doing and they have a walled garden now. YouTube is, there's, children live on there. I remember being shocked when my kids were even early teens. Whenever they searched for something, they went straight to YouTube.
Exactly. It's visual Wikipedia, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's there's nothing that's not on there, and then you wait for a week. It's almost like we're like living in the 40s, waiting for a week for the next thing to come on the telly on terrestrial. And I'm the biggest fan of public service broadcasting, RTE, BBC, and all the rest. But YouTube, it's just unbelievable, but the rabbit holes are the problem, Kevin, right?
Totally, but
watching boys cut down trees for 4 hours, but
as you get older and wiser, you realise that so much of TV, if you take any TV shows in any network, there's so much filler. The whole introduction, whatever else, and then you finally get to a part of the meat.
Yes.
And of course, if you're blessed, you're on BBC, there is no ads. But you have to go through so much to get it. But with YouTube, you know your subject. You kind of know the people you want to listen to and view. And you also have control of skipping here and there. And you just get more.
Yeah.
But again, we're fighting this, even as an educator. I couldn't do my lectures like I did years ago, 3-4, because you can't. Everyone's attention span especially young people's, has been reduced to sound bites, really.
Sawdust.
It's very, very hard to keep people engaged for a long period.
But there's also the quality of it. And again, I'm sticking up for organisations like ours and ITV and Channel 4. Kevin, some of it, you're right. There's a guy on, he catches hogs in Tennessee. He drops this cage and then he shoots them and then he tries to get them away to families and all, because they're invasive in many parts of the southern states. And it takes him 25 minutes to hit the button on the cage thing. And I'm going, I'm watching this guy. He's very funny. But it's thin gruel. And then you put on Attenborough or Brian Cox or something on BBC 4 and you go, this is taking them a year to make an hour of telly. And it's damn good. Yeah. You know what I mean? The texture of content.
Very much. I mean, the prices come down so much, and also now with Gen AI, that which is one of the scourges recently of YouTube, is an awful lot of the videos are becoming AI generated, and you're sometimes halfway through the video before you realise, oh my goodness, no, that's a wrong fact there.
I've been thinking about that thing, the point you made on this programme 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I see it now all the time. Yeah. So you were worth the price of admission that day alone, because you're going, it couldn't be the case. That great white shark couldn't be, 20 foot out of the water, and then you realise it ain't. Yeah.
It's unfortunately, like, a lot of the web now has become fake. It's feeding on itself. Like people are saying that the web is dead because there's hardly any new content being generated. It's all being
what do you see as the future here? I think it might come back to quality of content, and I'm not just sticking up for the BBC, but I think when people might tire of really thin stuff, really cliched stuff, where the content maker is on their own and getting 500,000 hits and getting money off that and all the rest. Well, I know you're not a media expert in that sense, Kevin. What do you see as a destination here? Do you think people, because we're living with the newness of YouTube, still first generation in that sense, what do you see as a direction of travel there?
It's still the long tail, and the long tail is where, what Amazon does, that there's always one purchaser of a book out there. Like a library can only store, a bookshop can only store so many books. And you go for the popular ones, of course. But when Amazon came along with the web, you can have every single book in the world on there, and you will find an audience for that somewhere. It's like a bit like YouTube, that there's always a video. For instance, we had a friend when we were younger, and the kid was obsessed with washing machines. His happiest days was doing the washing for us when he came and visited, and ironing. And when he was no age, driving on long car journeys for 6 hours to Dublin, say to Cork, all he would watch on his handheld was washing machine cycles.
Gosh.
There's a market for everything. Like, who would think there would be anyone out there interested? And there's a lot of people out there interested in just looking at a washing machine going around. I'm
going to go home tonight and do a search for paint drying and say that's worse than watching paint dry. I bet you there's a video of paint drying. I bet you there is. Kevin, we need to talk about Harrods. Not that they're going to get that much trade from this part of the world, but I bet you there's people listening to this who maybe go, go on, we'll just buy it for Christmas or as a wee treat in Harrods. Well, if you bought that thing online, you maybe need to, I don't know, what do you need to do? Tell us.
There was another breach. 430,000 customer details were leaked. They say no credit card information was leaked, but otherwise personal details were leaked, and it was through third-party supplier that Harrods used, whether or not it was someone using some kind of affiliate payment systems, or else it was just a plain data broker. But again, it's just another day, another data breach, really.
Yeah, but I mean, there might be people who have given their data, what's your name, what's your address. They're saying they notified customers late September that that their data was taken during a break-in at one of its suppliers, an actual break-in, Kevin. The in fact has basic personal details like your name, contacts, but does not include passwords or financial information. So it's a bit of relief there. Kevin, let's talk about YouTube again. In the Biden era and going through COVID, YouTube were required to up their game a bit when it came to conspiracies and all the rest. Now, what's changing there?
Yeah, during the COVID era, especially the Biden administration, they banned a lot of COVID accounts if they were deemed to be against the government's message. And also other people, again, that were for violating policies again. But again, policies change. And they have changed since the Republican movement have come in. So therefore, posting something, even your view, aggressively against the COVID vaccines or whatever else, is now allowable on YouTube. You will not get blocked for that or banned, and a few other policies as well. So we're seeing where things are not always permanent when it comes to a policy and a social network side, because they are influenced by government.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. And we're seeing now there's a rollback again. So they're trying to let a lot of these people who were banned back onto YouTube again.
So policies, like a tide, in, out, and all the rest. See, there we were just glowing about YouTube at the start of this, and then you're going that these worlds, they're always complex, Kevin, aren't they? They're always complex, but at the end of the day, we're always going to be in charge of what we let into our brains, right? We're always going to be in charge of, we have our own veracity, and that's all we have going for us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
It's difficult for younger. Again, you got to have critical thinking. Again, and you also want views on the left and the right to get to the truth. Sometimes the truth is somewhere in the middle again. So I'm more for the free speech side of things. I do think the governments can just use a policy as a weapon, really, sometimes. But of course, there is speech out there that none of us want to hear, and it is difficult. I wouldn't want to be the content moderator for these social media giants again, because you're dealing with countries from around the world, you're dealing with conflicts, you're dealing with religious wars going back hundreds of years, and everyone's got a view in every single country. How do you appease the masses? Really.
So, but you would be a libertarian in the sense, let it, even if it's awful, if it's reprehensible, if it's wrong, let it be.
Well, I don't know either, because you got the Alex Joneses of this world again, which just spout lies out there. So I don't think I'd be that libertarian either. Yeah. Okay,
listen, finally, maybe for any businesses, or maybe people personally targeted, what about cyber attacks? An insurer, leading insurers, saying, Kevin, that 80% of people who are ransomware victims, we're inside your computer, give us money or else you can't get access to your own stuff, kind of thing. And 80% pay up.
Yeah, I was surprised at that. That's quite high, because that should change in the future, where I believe governments will make it illegal to pay a ransom. Because that's one way to stop it. If the UK is known as not paying ransoms, they'll move on to Papua New Guinea or whatever else there is money in to be made. No, the reason they're going for it is because people are still paying the ransoms.
So guess what? Legislate.
Legislate is the only way. We're seeing Marks and Spencer will probably go out of business because of that cyber attack a few months ago. Like Marks and Spencer's are down 300 million. The government have bailed out Jaguar and Land Rover here with 1.5 billion because of the cyber attack. But Marks and Spencer will probably never recover from that. People have moved on to other sites. People who were loyal customers there. There were 7 weeks without any online presence where you could buy.
Good Lord.
So again, their regulars, their loyal Middle England customers will move on to the likes of Amazon and Temu, and they won't recover from that. No. That's one attack. That's
a stark prediction.
It is.
No more M&S.
Look at there's a trucking company in England last year, and it was around for 70 years and had 150 employees. They've gone out of business because they couldn't pay the ransom and they couldn't get the systems back, and they only had a cash flow for a few weeks. They went out of business because of a ransomware attack.
Good Lord. Right. So throw the computer out the window.
No, I mean, it's just you got to just copy best practices within cybersecurity, allocate a budget, knowing that your system, everything, all your IT systems are mission critical.
Kevin, always very, very challenging stuff. We appreciate the detail. Thank you, as always. The thoughts there of Professor Kevin Curran from the Ulster University at McGee. Right, folks, in 10 minutes I want to talk about Christmas and just a lovely act of kindness.